Evening, whoever's watching. I'm a bit new to this live malarkey. I'm trying to keep the camera here. So who do we have online at the moment? So, hello and welcome to this live turning. Anything could happen. I've tried to set up things so that it's easily accessible, but I'm relatively new to the turning side of things. So, those of you who follow me on Instagram will know I posted a couple of these blanks online, and I do like the way they've turned out, although by the looks of it I could have mixed them a bit better. But what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try to keep everything in this space so you guys can see what I'm doing and what I get up to. And hopefully, if you have any questions, by all means, give me a shout. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to answer them whilst we're going along, but please feel free. So, first things we're going to do is we are going to trim one of these down to size and then hollow it out. So, let me get rid of that. And grab my high-tech jig. I've found by using one of these mitre blocks, it gives a bit more of an accurate cut. So, this works for me, may not work for you guys. We're going to be turning this into the Amiga rollerball kit from Taylor Murfield. So I'm going to trim the longer one first and try and keep, where possible, the orientation of the resin going in sort of the right direction, so you don't actually lose the grain, if you like, of what you've done. For those of you that are watching, I do appreciate you spending your Friday night with me. It's a bit fresh out here, but we'll keep warm. So that's the first one done. What I try to do is keep probably about a 1/16 of an inch either end. It keeps it nice and makes it easy to trim, which I'll show you later on. So that's one part done. Put that down. Now the larger part of the barrel. Again, same process. Hold it up. Okay, just going to rescue that piece. Can I see if I can see who's online? Marker paint. Put them back. Okay, so I tend to use the Record Power pen jaws. For me, because it makes life a lot simpler when you are drilling the centre hole out. So let's get this onto the lathe. You also, it keeps every centre centred. I know that sounds a bit obvious, but when trying to do it on a drill press, I found that very cumbersome and not always repeatable. And one thing about pen turning is you want it to be repeatable. So, long blank. Hey Mike, hey Mr. T, hey Mark, you alright? There's going to be plenty of malarkey, mate. Right, so long barrel, long blank. what I like to do is I like to mark an arrow on. This ensures that we get the centre in the right place each time. Also, this may sound obvious, but make sure you get the corresponding bit for the corresponding barrel. Don't ask me how I know, I just know. So let's put that to one side, pop that in the jaws. Let's tighten these up. I get now why Steve from Temple Boy Booms sings whilst he's doing this, because there's obviously so much you can say whilst you're trying to concentrate. And for any ladies that are watching this, us blokes cannot do two things at the same time. And if my wife is watching this, she'll definitely agree. So let's tighten that up. I'm going to drop the speed down about just a smidgen. Excuse me leaning over. You want to talk amongst yourselves for a moment? There we go. Lock that in place. Do that up. Dust extractions on mainly for airborne particles as opposed to the large shavings. I'll get the large shavings cleaned up when I'm finished making a mess. Right, let's pop through the end. Let's get this out. Where are we? Okay. We have a hole. Always like to dry fit the cylinder in just to make sure it's all good. So that's one piece. Put that to one side so it's nice and safe. Let's change the drill bit. I'd like to sound all clever and knowledgeable by telling you exactly how big these drill bits are, but without reading the instructions I have no idea, because they're all very obscure sizes. Again, you can buy the bits direct from the Taylor's Murfield sites. I would advise you buying the actual, when you're buying a new kit, buy the corresponding drill bit and buy the corresponding bushings. It makes sense, but some people don't. Again, don't ask me how I knew that. So let's just mark an arrow on there for continuity. What's everybody up to at the weekend? Hopefully lots of turning and perhaps bits for Christmas fairs. I'm not at the stage where I'm comfortable making stuff for Christmas fairs yet, but maybe next year. one of the definite advantages that I've noticed by having the pen jaws, as well as getting the centre hole in the centre of resin blanks every time, it just means that you get a straight through hole, so it's even all the way round. As I was drilling on a drill press, no matter how hard you tried, unless you buy the specific pen blank jaws to hold it on the drill press, you get a bit of wobble, which can cause tear out. And on that note, with the pen blanks, I haven't had tear out or blowout on the back of these either yet. Huey, no, these are going to be the Amiga kits, mate. And hi, Leona. Hi, Wayne. So yeah, there we go. So that's that done. So next job is one of the most boring ones, and that is just to abrade the side of the tubes to get the super glue to stick. Again, apologies to the more proficient turners amongst you guys that know all this stuff, but this is quite a basic video for people like me that are still learning, so that they can see the little tips and tricks that from a beginner's perspective, because it can be quite daunting, especially with things like barrel sizes, bushing sizes, even the orientation that you put your bushings in can cause a few problems. So I just want to pass on what I've learnt to you guys. And again, if you see something that I'm doing that I could do with improving, then please let me know, because I'm only trying to learn myself. So, and by everybody passing on the knowledge, if we all pass on a bit of knowledge, it means it's easier for somebody else to learn, and that's only got to be a good thing, hasn't it, Pidge? Thank you, the small wood. I'm trying to read while sand, and that just shows that I can't do two things at once. Hello, everybody. Makes it easy because your voice has gone, your emoji's gone off. Thank you very much as well. It means a lot, young man. Thank you. Right. With regards to taking the shine off these, this is just to allow the super glue to adhere properly. Gives it something to grip hold of. You're not trying to take the shine off it, you're just trying to rough it up a little bit to ensure, let's say it's got a bit of friction there when you're spinning it round on the lathe. So, okay, that's that. Now, to stick these into the tubes, I have found the chestnut sorrow super glue. I can never say that word, super glue. The chestnut super glue works wonders. I use the medium because it gives it a bit of body. The thin I use for just perhaps touching up around the top and the bottom to avoid any spillage. But if you do it right, it should be fine. So you should be wearing gloves. I'm going to say you should definitely be wearing gloves during this. However, I'm not. But to cover safety reasons, please wear gloves. So a little bit goes a long way. So spread it around. And insert it in like a twisting motion. And try, where possible, to have one end as flush as you can. Or not, as the case may be. Oh, it's gone through to the other way. So there we go. So that's now sat in there, and we'll let the super glue dry up for a few minutes. We'll do the same to the shorter piece. In and with a twisting motion. I think the resin's actually overheated a little bit there because I've got a bit of space. So, oh, just excuse me, the dogs are barking a bit. Yoshi Baloo, come. Come. Apologies about that. Right, leave them there a few minutes while I set up the next part of this. The dogs are not happy because they're outside with me this evening. They should want to be inside in the nice and warm. But then, wouldn't we all want to be in the nice and warm? So, I'll try to, after this video's done. Sorry, Mike. I didn't just trying to read what you're saying there. I'm just started pen turning. Don't have all the pen turning parts. I have the pen jaws so far. I use them for other things now. I'd be interested to know what you use them for. But slow and steady. You build up the. It's not a cheap hobby, but it is very rewarding, Mike. The mandrel that I'm going to use is a 2 mortise taper Axminster multi-purpose mandrel. It's the deluxe one. It comes with a short and a long barrel for you to put your kits on, and it's also adjustable in length depending on what kit you're going to have. So what we're going to do is, this is where no, we're not, you silly man. No, we're going to trim the barrels first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Trim the barrels, Martin. Trim the barrels. Right. Right, what we're going to do now... God, I wish there was in-video editing. Pop you back on there. Pop the blanks back into the chuck. Remembering the orientation. Now this only works for the first time, because we're going to have to flip it around. So we'll face up this edge first, flip it round in the jaws, and then go in and edge up this set of this end of the barrel next. That way then at least one end is perfectly flat against the actual bed of the lathe. And what we use to trim the barrel with is a barrel trimmer. Again, this is from Axminster. Hey, each tool in our shed can be used for a multiple of things, Mike. There's no sorry worry about that. Right, let's tighten you up. Get that. Okay. So slide that into the hole, but just keep it proud of the actual face, because what you don't want it to do is you don't want it to bind. So what we'll do is we'll spin up the lathe now, and then we'll slowly move the barrel trimmer forward until it just catches the edge of the brass tube on the inside. There you go. I don't know if you can see that there, but you should be able to see the edge is just really shiny. What you do have to be careful of, I will say, is going in too deep. Because if you go in too deep, you'll distort the length of the barrel, and therefore the kit won't work. So, again, don't ask me, I know that, but I'm pretty sure most wood pen turners will agree that that's the most frustrating part, when you make a pen that's supposed to be this long and you end up trimming it down to that long, and then the whole pen does not work. So far I must have probably ruined about 3 or 4 very nice pens because I wasn't paying attention at this part. It may seem like a bit of a nonsensical thing to do, but ensuring you've got that relationship between the bed of the vehicle, the bushings and the mandrel against your lathe ensures you have a really nice fitting pen. So again, pay a lot of attention when doing this part. Again, keep your eye out for shavings, like the brass shavings. I don't know if I can do that. I think I may. Can you see that there? There is just this tiniest speck of brass shaving just there. I'm looking at the back of this camera and I can't see anything, but I promise you it is there. No, okay, just believe me, it is there. So that's one done. Nice and shiny. Number two, same sort of thing, using the arrow as a point of reference, sliding it into the jaws. Leaving it proud just a bit. Slow and steady. There we go. Steve Twaddell does make this look very easy when he's doing his filming and communicating with people. So, again, I'm hoping that I'm not doing too bad a job. So there we go, that's the larger barrel. Okay, so back to where I thought we were going to be earlier on. So this, as I said earlier on, is the Axminster Deluxe 2 mortise taper pen mandrel. It's adjustable in length and comes with a shorter one, a shorter barrel as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the 2 blanks on the actual mandrel with the correct bushings for the kit. So this, if anyone's got any tips about how to store and look after your bushings in relation to the kits that you've got, I've tried to do that, and I've actually realised I've got the wrong one there, so I'm glad I read that one. And just dig the right one out. Right, where was I? Yes. So make sure you have the right bushings for the job at hand. So, as you can see, these are a bit of a mare to get your head round. But if you can, once you've got your head round them, that's great. But if anyone's got any great storage ideas, oh, pillboxes. Oh yeah. Oh, I like that idea. Thank you, Leona. Much appreciated. So, big one. Big one. Big one. Big one. Now this is the trick to get the next one. There we go. Look at this. Small one. Small one. Do bimmy flip. And then the securing bolt. Tighten up. Hand tight, but not too tight. The oh, right, the reason I'm undoing this is, I don't know if you can see, but I've got the arrows pointing in the wrong direction. So a good visual check to make sure you're doing the right thing. So as I was saying, yes, ensure that you do the thread up tight, but hand tight, because what you don't want to do is force this nut on here, because what it'll do is it'll pull it and potentially bow the barrel in between, which will then give you elliptical pen blanks. So live center in, pull up again, push it in but not too tight, and let's lock it in. What tools do people prefer when turning blanks? Me personally, I tend to just enjoy the rough and gouge. I think I've managed to find that on yeah, Leonie, you're right, rough and gouge, and sometimes I will use a skew when I'm using wood. Thank you very much, Wayne. Right, just going to disappear over to the other side of the shed just to sharpen this, because it needs a bit of TLC. I don't know if you can see that. It's not the sharpest. So give me a second. Right, I don't know if you heard that, but quite literally all I'm doing is just trying to give it a bit of a clean up. I'm not trying to regrind it, it's just to refresh the edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the suction on. No, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the speed up first of all. This is the only downside of having the little DML 250, and it's the only downside I can see, is you need to manually change the belts. So before we do any turning, let's just spin that bad boy up. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. Extraction on. One question I do want to ask is, what preference do people have with regards to contours for pens? Do people like stumpy ones? Do people like flat ones? Or do they just see how the mood takes them, like with bowls? Do they have a set thing in mind, or do they just see how the mood takes them? Me, personally, I'm very much like a nice cigar, sort of straight cylindrical shape, as opposed to like a bulbous one. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? I do like the effect resin gives, but such a dirty material to work with. Oh no! Wait. Oh. Well, that sucks. That is terrible. That is an absolute... Oh dear. I suppose that's just one of them sort of things. But still, okay. That's not a problem. Okay. Okay. What we can do, we have a plan B. Let's get rid of that. We'll keep the big one for the moment, and what we'll do is we'll clean this up and we'll rescue this, because this is the point of this video, is to show people what to do when things go wrong, and I don't think it can get any more wrong than this. So we'll take this as a learning opportunity. Not going to wallow in self-pity, because it happens. So let's shorten that. Okay, shorten that up. Do you? This is real world stuff, people. This isn't. This is no edited videos types malarkey. However, I wish I could use the magic of video editing about now, just to show you that it was all wonderful and everything was hunky-dory. But then, how would people learn? That's the whole point. So this might be a little bit longer than I originally thought. But again, it's real world. So let's clean this up. as I'm going in with such a short space between the tool rest and the centres, I'm going to have to be a bit careful here. So let's turn this down. So let us use a bit of a knife to get rid of the resin on there. Right, well I think the problem there, I don't know if you can see this, but we've got glue here, glue all around the bottom, but there's no glue, or doesn't look like any glue is actually attached there. So in essence, that's my fault for not ensuring that the glue had gone all round. I'm not going to blame the resin. So what we're going to do is trim this down again. Trim down a different blank. They're both roughly the same. I don't know how this is going to affect the patterning, but let's see. Should, I suppose, be sat with you may be wondering what I'm doing. When I redesigned my new work area, I made one fatal mistake, and that was not to give me enough room to put my knockout bar in. Yeah, schoolboy error, but we'll work around that. Okay. So, pen jaws back on. Put a direction of travel on again. Do that there. Ensure we have the correct size drill bit for the blank that we're doing. Yeah, there we go. That's that there. Right. Pop you into there. For those of you who have just joined, I've purposely buggered up my previous blank so you can see what I did in the beginning. For those of you that are still watching from the beginning, go grab yourself a cup of tea. I'll be back with you in a few moments. Normal service will be resumed. Is it just me, or is every time you put something down, it seems to go walkies? So we've got the big bore barrel and the big bore drill bit. So that's all good. I wonder how many people, apart from obviously me, are foolish enough to make these silly mistakes whilst we're actually filming live. But then it happens to everybody, I suppose, at the end of the day. And new wood turners need to know how to get around these problems and know it's okay to make these mistakes. Evening, Dave. Evening to everybody else that I've not said hello to yet, that's actually joining me. Thank you very much for spending the time. Okie dokie. How many of you lovely people are looking forward to Makers Central? Because I know I am. Evening, Wayne. Evening, Claire. It's a very nice little fit there. Right. What I'm going to do now is ensure that I spread the glue a little bit more liberally than what I did before, to ensure that it sticks this time. Yes, mate, I'll be there both days. I really look forward to Makers Central every year, especially meeting young Wayne in the bar on the Friday evening with his little Babby's bottle. You weren't too bad company, Wayne. It's like Dave G's a bit of a nightmare once he's had a shandy. Right, I'm going to leave this to set. I'll leave it there to dry for a bit while I set up the barrel trimmer. Here we go. Okay, I'm getting old because every time I bend over to pick something up off the floor, I end up making strange and weird noises. Or is that just me? Cheers. I'll be staying at home and driving to and from the hotel, and like I did last year. Nothing tastes better than a coffee in a Batman mug. Right, barrel trimmer. Okay, remembering I'm not sure if you can make that up yet, but it looks a bit loose around the rim there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of the chestnut thin to let it seep in around the edges just a little bit. I'm not having the same thing happen again, because we've got the very talented pen turner young Claire in, so I'm trying to make a good impression here. And also Mr. Dave G makes some awesome pens. Could you all blow on the screen, please? Because I need this to dry. Dave, I know you've got more puff than that. Come on, blow on the screen. That's great if you actually hadn't run out of it, Dave. I need to pick some up tomorrow. One of the things I was checking for this evening, and it's like, oh, no. So, going to have a bit of a musical interlude. A boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka doom. Thank you, Wayne. Boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. Flame and Turner, thank you very much. A boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. Boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. Nearly done. It's not drying any quicker. Anyway, right, okay, so back into the jaws of doom. Doom, I say. We've struck gold. Didn't really want to do that bad, but still. And send. There we go. Right, and we're back to where we were earlier on. Near enough, sort of. Okay, so now we have it sorted. Why did I think about doing that? Okay, so where were we before I was stupidly interrupted by the breaking out resin? And I've took you off and I don't need to take you off. So, here we go. You there, you there, do that. Okay, it's getting late, I'm getting tired. My arms are not working. Any other excuse for yes, I know, I shouldn't do that, I'll damage the pens. The jaws, beg your pardon. Okay. So let's extend this back out again. Find my little doohickey. So, what have we got going on here? We've got big barrel, big one. Big barrel. at this point now, unfortunately, it doesn't matter which way I've got the arrows, but let's try to be as have as much continuity as possible. Anybody else sing to themselves while they're in the shed again, or is it just me? I suppose, to be fair, I'm probably the safest singing in the shed on my own, because couldn't hold a tune in a bucket if I wanted to. So I apologise for everybody else, but I am definitely tone deaf. So, okay, there we go, that's that there. Let's tighten that up. Let's do that there. Let's see what speed we're at. Yeah, we're at a good speed. Test for safety. And here we go. I think is the long and short of what I'm trying to say here. I am really sorry, folks, but for some unknown reason, it's gone again. I've got to blow out this end. And I don't know why. That absolutely sucks. I've got one more piece left. One more piece left to be able to try this. And then I think if it doesn't work this time, I'm probably going to have to call it a night. Because I'm slowly going to start to lose my patience with resin. So give me a second and we'll go back through it again. Take this off again. Does anyone know what is causing this? because whilst I've not been turning very long, I think this is the most I've had this happen to me with resin. Any suggestions? Use some dust and CA. Okay, let's try that then. Dust and CA, folks. Okay, we'll take that off there so we don't have to worry about that. Let me clear a bit of space here. And get my little work area out. Do I have some? Let's try something else. Just try a little bit of something. Hold on. I have a plant formulating. I have a plant formulating, people. Don't panic. Don't panic. Pop it on there like that. I'm going to put on my respirator now. Okay, that may very well work. And I think I'm probably going to take the Worcester approach out of this now, as both have gone buggered up on me previously. And now I've put that down and I can't see where I've put it. Anyone see where I put that piece down? There, found it. Thank you. Right, I think we're going to take it a little bit slow and steady now, because I don't want to bugger it up anymore. Move you down there. Move you there. Do there. Let's give this time for that to dry anyway. So, if any of you are watching this back on replay, just a quick recap. I currently have, this is my second attempt, and it hasn't gone very well for me, as in the fact that it's popped out twice. But that's the whole point of doing today, is the fact that we learn and we see what how to rectify problems. So it's challenging, to say the least, but if I'm making these problems and and I'm learning how to rectify them as I go along, then hopefully you guys will be able to rectify them yourselves. And thank you very much to all the people that are watching that are offering sound advice. I will get to seeing more of the screen as and sort of interact a little bit more, but at the moment it seems to be a little bit tricky because I'm trying to concentrate on this. How long has everyone been into turning then, the people that are watching? I know Wayne has been turning for, I think it's 30 years, isn't it, Wayne? Oh, oh my God, the Queen of Wood Turning, the Queen of Pen Turning is on watching my channel. Oh dear God. Please tell me you have not just seen the 2 errors that I've made, Pam. If we could not discuss the problems I've had whilst Pam's on here, that would be much appreciated, people. Right, so there we are, we're back with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to concentrate on this one for a little while. Actually, I need to tighten that up just a little bit more. Give this glue a chance to set. So I'm going to concentrate on this side and take it a little bit steadier, I think. Nice and steady. But I'm definitely going to wuss out now. I'm going to start sanding. So I'm going to start with 180 grit. What I like to try to do when I'm sanding is try to get these nice and flush so they're going down, so it gives a nice contour to the pen. Again, each pen is individual and each turner has their own preference as to how they want to turn. I think it's oh, that's gone again there. Oh my God, that's gone there. Right, CA glue again. Leave that doing that there. Leave it spinning for a bit. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I actually realise we're going for why we go for resin at times. Who's off? Night, Pam. Thank you very much for joining. Apologies, it didn't work out as well as I expected, because I'd like to have been finished now, realistically. Hey Chris, how's it going, pal? You still turning, mate? Right, it's up to 240 now. Try not to keep your sandpaper in one place too long, and just light and nice and gentle with the touches. Don't go too heavy on it, because otherwise you'll find it grabs. So, like I say, nice and steady, nice and easy. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Right, up to 320. I love sanding. I really do. Anyone got any craft fairs coming up over the weekend? If you are you prepared for them? You got your stall set up? Oh, nice one, Chris. What is it you're after at Maker Central then, Mark? Well, would you bloody Adam and Eve it? I think it's actually worked its way loose. I'm not sure what's going on here. I've made several of these kits, and tonight I think I've come across every problem that I could have actually come across. I mean, it's actually peeled off. How very, very bad is that? Is that something I'm doing wrong, guys? Why is that peeling? Can you see that? Ah, okay. Okay, thanks very much, guys. I get that. Right, let's drop this down. drop the spade down a bit more and see if I can use the thin CA glue to drop it down to about 500. Right. Okay. Right. Well, that one's rubbish. Oh, no, yeah, that one's rubbish. I'm going to scrap that one. Again, I've got a bit more resin left, so I'm going to go back to plan A or plan D as it is now, and I'm going to start again for this piece. And because I want to try to make it. I want to try to make it as professional looking as possible, the pen, at the end of the day. So, let's go all the way back to the beginning with the blank. Let's cut it, let's sort it, let's drill it out, and let's do that. But when we do it, we'll bring the speed of the sanding down so that it doesn't create too much friction or create heat from the friction. I did not think of that. Thank you very much for that, guys. Yoshi Baloo, come. Oh, my dogs are going mad. Boys, come on. Yoshi, come on, Baloo. Come on then. Come on. Come on in here, look. Come on. Hello. Hello. Where's me go? Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, hello. Look, I'll just turn you around. Look what I've got here. Hello, me. Hello. Right. Oh, you can still hear the other one. I'll be back, folks. I'll be back. Yoshington. Come on. Come on. Right, where were we? Yes. Trimming this one down. And starting again. I'm going to use a bit of a parting tool to get rid of this lot. Go. Okie dokie, diddly pokey. Right. Let's trim you off. By trim you off, I obviously mean throw you all over the floor. Right, I'm wondering if that by having the revs up too high was actually causing the resin to expand whilst I was cutting it, or whilst I was drilling the hole. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the speed whilst drilling out as well, because that way then we'll eliminate all potential problems, because that's happened twice now, and twice we've had a failure. So Back to the cutting. Back to this piece. Although I am getting quite proficient at this now. And they say third time's a charm. Let's just hope that is actually correct. Because whilst the idea of this was to show people how to correct your mistakes, it wasn't supposed to be a video on making mistakes. And that is how it's turning to be. A glossary of mistakes for pen makers. But I'm not going to be defeated. We will have a very nice pen at the end of this. Even if I don't have to go to bed this evening and I'm here on my own till 3 o'clock in the morning, turning the pen, then I will still be here at 3 o'clock in the morning, turning the pen until it's done. And then you lovely people can just see it on Instagram in the morning. No, you're absolutely right, Mark. I'm not worried. I'm not disappointed. I'm not annoyed. I'm just, for my first full-on live showing something, I'm not going to say embarrassed because that's the wrong sort of words. I'm glad it's happening because it's showing people exactly what I wanted to show, and I wanted to show that things are not Instagram ready. I wanted to show the work that actually goes into making something, and I also wanted to show people how to learn. But with you guys that are watching that are very, very proficient turners, and obviously you're quite good, you're very good friends, I'm also just mindful of things going wrong and probably a little bit embarrassed, to be fair, at times. But still, that's not the point. Let's get this turned and we'll keep trying until we get a pen at the end of it. I suppose this goes on every day in every pen turner's shop where things go wrong and mistakes get made. The only difference is they're not foolish enough to do it live on video. And if it's at times like this, I actually begin to wonder what I was thinking when I said I was going to do it. But that is it. Okay, so you're up there. Let's get you off. Where's my knockabar? Oh, knockabar. There it is. Do that. No, I don't want you just yet. Silly, silly boy. Do you? Barrel trimmer. Do you? Do you? There we go. Right, so let's get the barrel stuck in here. Let's see if this is actually a worthwhile idea. Seems to be a bit better fit. I've got to say, quite impressed with that. I did not realise resin would be that much of a problem. But I'm also going to change tack. I'm going to use thin CA glue on the I'm going to use thin CA glue to get it all the way round. Maybe a bad idea, but we've changed other bits, so let's try changing this. So give it a bit of welly round top and bottom. Okay, let's get you in there. Right, let's get you in. Push you in a smidgen, just so we've got equal amounts. I'm also going to put a dab around the ends. Okay. If we have any puff left, people, then if we could keep puffing. Put that in there. Put that there. Right, let's leave that on just for a few minutes to give it a bit of air going to it. Whilst I have another slurp of coffee. Oh, that's better. Okay. Yep, that's that one. Well, that's that way, should I say. Flip it around. Flippity dippity dip. Let's put this way. Okay, and there we go. So, right. Happy days. That's that bit sorted. Going a bit of deja vu though, because I think I've been here before. Right, take you on there. Shoo-be-doo-be-doo. Put you there. Oh my god. And put you over there without knocking over everything else in the shed. Okay, so pen mandrel back in the hole. Pen mandrel bit. The problem is I'm probably going to have to turn the speed up a little bit just while I turn it, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to turn it very well. Get some welly. Okay, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And where are we? There's my bit. So, big one. Big one. Okay, little one. Make sure we've got in the right orientation, which is there. Yep, happy days. Put you on there like that. Let's give me a bit extra length. There we go. Let's tighten this up. That's that nice and tight. But you are nice and tight now. Let's bump the speed up just for turning purposes. As I said, this is the only downfall with having the DML 250 is the fact that you have to change the speed manually on the belt. Maybe, if I'm a really good boy, make a central, I might be getting myself Oh, the Herald. Oh, stay tuned, folks. Okay, so we're on there. Sped up, nice and easy. I'm being so careful at the moment. So nervous because this is probably one of the last pieces I've got. So if this goes wrong now, the video is pretty much over. Really nice and steady. Nice and steady. Try not to go too heavy on the ends. If I'm honest, I'm probably just going to sand my way to the... I'm going to go as close as I dare to, and then I'm probably just going to sand the last bit because I'm too nervous, if I'm honest. I don't like the way that looks. Okay, just a little bit more at this end. A little bit more. Okay, right, we're still intact. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the chicken's way out and I'm going to sand it. So, right, drop the speed. Drop the speed all the way down to 500 revs. Is it 400 revs? 450, that's where we're going. Going to go as slow as this little thing will go. And we're going to shape it like that. Yes, it's the coward's way out. Yes, there are better ways of doing it. Yes, I should be actually turning this as opposed to sanding this to shape. However, with the disasters, darling, that we've had this evening, I think I'm fully equipped to take the coward's way out. So. Did I mention that doing that is a... did I mention having to change the belt manual is a pain in the bum? Oh, this is a bit nerve-wracking now, this is, to be fair. I don't know whether I should be crying or excited, the fact that I'm actually getting to a point where I should have been an hour or so ago, and 3 lots of resin later. I mean, there is nothing exciting by any stretch of the imagination about watching somebody sand. But if you could feel the jubilation that I'm actually getting at this moment in time from actually being able to sand and not feel as though it's broken or damaged, is actually quite impressive. I do feel, like I say, a bit of a cop-out that I'm not actually turning this to shape at the moment, but with how the resin's played up this evening, I think it's only fair that I at least give you a finished project at the end of tonight, as opposed to holding you on forever to just show you how lots of failures have gone on. So I'm not trying to rush, because I don't want to rush this, because at the end of the day I'd like a project. But what I do want to do is show you guys how something can go wrong and we can still recover something from it. Although I am almost tempted just to use the skew, but then I don't think I ought to be fair. I'm not building up any friction or trying to keep it, or I'm trying not to build up any friction. This is taking forever, so I am going to actually go back up and shape it properly. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, I'm not 100% certain, but okay. Wish me luck, people, wish me luck. Okay, we have no blowout. We have no blowout, which is a winner. Okay, a little bit more off. That's it. No more. Oh, do I do it? One more pass. One more pass. One more pass. One more pass. There we go. That's it. Up for sanding now. Okay. Okay. Come on. Let's get this sanding done. Let's get it on. Come on, you little bugger. I'm at 900 revs at the moment, but so I'm not sure whether I should bring that down in speed. Yeah, I think I am. Because Mr. G actually mentioned about it, so let's drop the speed down. Listen to your peers, listen to people, learn from your mistakes. That's what we should be doing. So, right, who have we got here? We've still got 15 people. David. Steve, you alright? Mike, I tell you what, it's going to be this phrase of this evening. Come on, you bugger. Just play fair. To be fair, it's probably just got stage fright. Probably embarrassed to be amongst all you wonderful people. Steve, I think I'm surviving at the moment. This is the third one, I suppose the third cap I've made this evening. But we're getting there. Spalted mango. Oh, that sounds interesting. Right, I'm definitely trying to be a clever clogs here because I'm trying to read the comments and trying to sand at the same time. Yeah, you're right. So it's going really well, Steve. Just trying to make the sanding part as interesting as possible. Short of doing a fan dance, I don't actually think I'm going to achieve that at the moment. Right. So just trying to blend the edges in to the bushings. I think it was Wayne the Bigfoot Turner that said that the amount of bushings is worn down through doing this. Is a bit of a mare, but anyway, we're getting there slowly, folks. We're getting there slowly. We're getting to the good stuff shortly. Once we get past the sanding malarkey. Right. Let's go in there. Let's have a feel. Still a bit lumpy that end. Right. I think I need a new sanding pad. And yes, I'm fully aware that I shouldn't have my hands on a spinning thing or on the lathe whilst it's spinning, but you do so at your own risk, and I'm trying to get a full feel of the edges against the bushing. So please, if you do this, please do so at your own risk. Okay, so that's that. Right, we're up to 320. Oh, as you can see by this bit of paper, it's the first time we've done it. Hand model. Ooh. Ah. Wayne's got good hands. I didn't realise this was actually a thing that you guys were checking out with the guy's hands. But if it's any consolation, I do moisturise. Only the best moisturiser for me, I'm afraid. A bit of Yorkshire grit. Exfoliates and moisturises at the same time. Perhaps that's a selling point for Glyn. Right, okay, let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, okay. So, right. So, I don't know what your finishing routines are, or if you have any favourite finishing routines, but for anybody that watches my videos, know that I love the sanding sealer. Now, this may not be essential for turning pens, but I like to do it anyway because it gives it a bit of a clean. Get it up to 300 grit, and also it gets to, you can see what you're looking at with regards to the finish. Bit of a sneak peek, if you will. So a couple of coats. Get rid of that. Let it air dry for a minute. Should we have a look? It's almost a leopard skin effect style thing. Oh, with layered blue and oh yeah, I'm really quite liking how that's turned out, or turning out, should I say. Right, okay, so 320. Let's get a clean 320 pad. Right, 320, which almost makes it feel like all the hard work that I've just done has now been undone. Let's get this. Dave G, thank you very much for commenting on the or mentioning the temperature. Thank you very much for that, because it seems to have worked. Just trying to make sure that's tight enough. So thank you very much indeed again, fella. It's much appreciated. What's on everybody's Christmas wish list? Has anyone got any boys and girls been really good and hoping for something nice from Santa? Huey, if you PM me, I might have something that might be of interest for you. Oh no, scrap that. I've only got a MIG welder. Right, up to 600 grit now. most of the actual marks, so I'm quite happy with that. So what we'll do now is we'll ramp up the speed, probably to about 1500 RPM. If I can get the belts in the right place. Okay, that's that there. Lock you in. Time for a bit of Glynn's Good Juice. Right. Speed's all the way up. Yeah, I've seen, Wayne, that about stopping at 240 grit. I think it's just a habit I've got myself into, to be fair. Get better results starting at a lower speed. Okay. What benefit does that give you? Because remember, I haven't got variable speed, so what I do is tend to start off high and then just let it keep going until I see the shine appear. Is that going to be? Is that not a good idea, or just start off perhaps low and then work my way up? What do you think? What about you, Mark? What's your take on this? Start off slow or go in full bore? Okay, let's. I've never done that before, Wayne. So I'll tell you what. Let's give that a bit of a crack, because, again, the whole point is to learn. I don't know whether it'll work. So we'll start off at 450 again. Right, there we go. So, So what you're saying then, Wayne, is start off with this and then wait for it to rub in, or just wait for a little bit, then increase the speed. Right, I think, peoples, I'm not quite sure, but I don't know how much battery I've got left. So if you guys can just bear with me a second, I'm just going to go into the house and just grab a charger. So just entertain yourselves for a quick second.